good evening. I'm sorry. I just woke up. Good morning. My name is Ayano Tsuda. I'm a PhD student at Kyoto University, so that basically means that I like torturing myself, writing research papers, and being criticized for my research. And I'm really excited to be here today because I know that we're going to take things more slowly than my other colleagues that I have back at the university. So basically what I did here is put my hobby into a research topic, which is I watch a lot of movies, romantic movies, and create something out of it. So I hope you enjoy it. So, okay, imagine you ask someone out on a date. So what would your ideal situation look like? How would you invite that person out? Where would you go? Do you want me to ask somebody to give me your ideal situation on a date? No? I get eye contact and then not, so I'm gonna skip that. Basically, so when you watch movies, you invite someone out on a fancy dinner, give presents to each other, give sweet stuff about each other, or you can just go out, hang out on a riverside, holding hands together, which might be really typical in Japan, I don't know. But this is river in Kyoto, if you want to go. Or you can go to the movies, eat popcorns, enjoy your time together. Or this season is coming up. You can go to a summer festival where you cuddle together. So, are these situations that you came up, which I didn't ask, are they truly your ideas, or are they somewhat to an extent influenced by what movies you have watched in the past? So, movies normally depict situations that one might consider an ideal situation that could happen in your love life. A guy comes up to your front door with a message saying to me, "You're perfect." I hope you know that person, because if not, that's kind of scary. Or, after school, you listen to music, share an earphone. I hope this earphones will still exist because, nowadays it's a plug thing in your ear. It's not that romantic. Or you can kiss in front of a fountain. I don't know if you've watched this movie. Her romantic ideal situation was to kiss a guy and put your leg up, and she caused a lot of issues after that. Or something typical that they would be done in Japan. The guy just pushes you into the wall, gives you sweet talk to you. I don't know if that's romantic for you. Yeah, we call that kabedon. Or the guy could be on your heels asking for a hand, in this case a woman. It can go either way. And you can get married and live happily ever after. So, are these... sorry. Live happily ever after. So movies normally depicts those situations. And the research questions that I have for my research was, what ideas do people have about romantic relationships and love in general? Are audiences actually influenced by watching those movies? So I'm going to get serious from now on. So I'm going to present to you some past research that people have done related to this topic. So this guy up here, Bandura, what he did was he said that people can learn from solely observing others. What that means is that he, in an experimental room, asked an adult to punch a doll, act really aggressively, and there was a little kid watching that adult hitting. And what later on that kid did was he learned by observing that adult that you could behave aggressively and hit the doll. So what he says is that in that situation, it was you watching an adult doing that, but people can learn from watching movies, and just by observing them, they learn stuff from them, and possibly that can affect the behavior that you have in the future. And based on that theory, Johnson and Holmes did a content analysis of the movies, romantic movies, and he found out that in the romantic comedy movies, they depict ideals as well as challenges. What that means is that in those movies, a character in the movie might say, like, there's love at first sight. But that same person, later on in the movie, could just say, like, no, love at first sight, impossible, that doesn't exist, that doesn't work out. So they're both ideals and challenges in one same movie. But they did not actually look at what influences it has on the audience. So what Hefner and Wilson did was they used a questionnaire that asked romantic ideal beliefs that individuals hold about watching movies, such as, like, there is a happy ending in each love story. And they found out that those people who are motivated to learn more from the movies, so those who believed that there are romantic ideals in those movies and were motivated to learn from those movies, hold those romantic ideal beliefs more. And those who watched many movies, irrespective of genre, it could be whatever, it doesn't have to be love romance, it could be action, whatever, those people, individuals, hold that romantic ideal beliefs more. So in this current research, I built it upon the Hefner and Wilson study, and I had two objectives. One was to create a new scale, so basically a new questionnaire that could measure both behavior and romantic ideal beliefs in more detail, but in a Japanese context. And the second objective was to clarify the relationship between movies and ideals in the Japanese context. The participants from my research were 181 Japanese university students aged from 18 to 62 years old. Gender was divided into 55% male, female, and 45% male. Most of them had relationship experience before, and 6% of my participants were married. And for the procedure, I did a questionnaire, and it consisted of 3 sections. In the first section, I asked about their gender, the relationship experience in the past, and so on. So basically, the information about the participants. In the second section, I asked about those were the questions for measuring romantic ideal beliefs. And the third section was media exposure, like how much media, like movies they normally watch. And that was divided into Western and Japanese movies. This is an example of the second section of my questionnaire. So the question was, like, in different love romance themed films, there are a lot of happenings, behaviors, and thoughts stated below. Based on your beliefs and thoughts toward love, how much do you agree with each of them? So, like, example, love starts from first sight, and how much you believe in those. This is an example of my third section about asking about the movie exposure. And it was asked, think about your reason for watching Western or Japanese love romance movies, and how much you agree with each statement. And I watch love romance movies because they entertain me, or they help me learn about something, or I can forget about school and other things, so to escape from reality. And those were the questions that I used. In the second section of my questionnaire, based on those, I created a new questionnaire called the Romantic Trend Scale. And based on analysis, this section was divided into 4 categories. The first one was preparedness and intuitions about love. And this included questions such as, if I meet ideal person, I will change my appearance. So basically, I will change my appearance to fit the likeness of the other person. Factor 2 was named stability in romantic relationships. And items included, like, there's happy endings in relationships, and your relationship with one another would last, or, like, even if my friends or family disagree that the guy I'm dating is not a good person, I will continue dating that person. And those were included in factor 2. Factor 3 was named gentlemanlike qualities because it included items such as men should be the one to invite girls out or to confess love. And factor 4 was named negativity towards love because it included items such as there's no forever in love, and I think relationships are really negative things. And based on that, I created an expectation of what I will find in my research. So participants who have more experience in relationship will endorse beliefs in the romantic trend scale, which I have just shown you, more than those with less relationship experience. And high here means that they have been in a relationship more than once before. Low means they've never been in a relationship before. And based on past research, they've said that those who have been in a relationship before will hold romantic ideals that affect the longevity of relationships. So I expected that would somehow, the stability and the longevity of relationship would have effect on the romantic ideal beliefs that they have. The results supported my hypothesis. Because stability was significantly higher with those who had higher relationship experience. So if you can see the blue colored ones, those were scored higher than those with low relationship experience, so those were red and pink ones. And another thing that I found was that even though it was not a significant difference, so it was just a slight difference, it's a tendency. So there was a tendency for men to score slightly higher in gentlemanlike and stability factors compared to females. So what this means is those who have been in a relationship more than one time before believe in the stability and longevity of relationships, and it might be because they find good aspects of a relationship by being involved in one, so they have a positive aspect in it. Another finding was that compared to females, male participants believe in the stability and longevity of relationships, and they feel the need to have gentlemanly qualities. But the differences were slightly, so I need to do future research to really justify this claim, but it might be that male participants believe more in romantic ideals than the female counterparts. And for hypothesis 2, I expected that those who were motivated to learn from the movies will endorse idealized romantic beliefs more. And for this one, I compared Western and Japanese movies because in Japan we're exposed to both medias. And the findings showed that, and I compared this with those who were currently involved in a relationship and those who were currently single, and I found that those currently single watched Western movies to be entertained, learn, and escape from reality. So they scored higher than those who were currently involved in a relationship, and these differences were found only for Western movies, not for Japanese movies. So what this finding implies is that those currently not involved in a relationship watch Western romantic comedies for entertainment purposes, to learn, and to escape from reality. So, but no differences was found for Japanese romantic comedy movies. And the reason it might be is that Western romantic comedies might be more attractive to Japanese participants because they differ from the expectation that they normally face in their daily lives. So for example, in Western movies, you get a lot of more I love yous and a lot more hugs and a lot more physical closeness than ones that are depicted in Japanese movies. So that might have been an effect, a positive effect on those who are currently not involved in a relationship. So in sum, the results of this research suggest that it is possible Western and Japanese movies have different impact in the audiences. Therefore, it might be necessary to consider the cultural background and the extent to which individuals watch Western and Japanese movies when conducting this kind of similar research in Japanese context. And furthermore, being in a relationship or not might affect individuals' beliefs about the stability of relationships. So depending on whether they're in a happy, satisfying relationship or in an unhappy relationship, their romantic ideals might also differ. So a future direction for my research would be to consider the happiness that they are and the satisfaction that they have in their current relationship, and see whether that might affect the romantic ideals that each one holds. So, and you never know, you meet one person and your life might change forever. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions? Lots of questions, yeah.
With the types of people that you looked at, did you look at any kind of ages, like differences between ages, and if not, do you have an idea or hypothesis behind it?
So I didn't look at the age differences because the variation is to not, like, I don't have enough participants for each age group, so that's something that I might consider in the future. But of course, if you're married or not married, that might affect it. So I only had like 11 participants for my research compared to 100 something that were unmarried. So I might need to increase the number to actually see it, but maybe those who are married are already in a stable relationship, so that might affect like the belief that they have in the stability that I found in my research, like the stability factor.
What did you look at how satisfied the person was with their own life?
No, for this research that I've been doing right now, I haven't looked at their satisfaction of their life in general. But as you said, it might, like, it's not just about relationship that satisfies everyone, so it might be important to look into that factor as well. Thank you.
Personally, sorry, you didn't say yeah, sorry. Personally, what romantic movie do you think has influenced you the most?
That's a really good question.
One of them.
So recently I've been doing this research and I've been watching The Notebook. Have you ever watched The Notebook? That was really intense and romantic. But I don't think that influenced how I see myself in a relationship, but it's more like that would be like a fantasy world for me. I don't know. It might be different to what's in the reality.
So where do you think that romanticism came from? Where it came from? What is the origin?
The origin of romanticism
In general.
in general, that's a really philosophical and deep question. I think I need another whole session about it. So like, I don't know. But I think it's in our lives since like the very beginning. So like even in everything that you look at, even in the Japanese like old poems of like Hypnine-ishu, like the 100 collection of poems, it's all about love. So I think love is something that is really deep inside, something that is instinctive inside of us. And I don't know if that's gonna answer your question, but I think, yeah, it's even in the Greeks and the Romance period, so it's a long way to talk about this.
I think my question is related to the way it's been changing through times. And my belief right now is more related to an economic reason, actually.
Okay. Can I hear more about that?
Let's do that after. Let's keep going with questions.
Tom, do you have one?
What was the most surprising difference for you between the depiction of romance in Western versus Japanese?
Western, okay. Western Japanese movies. So I actually watched like the top 100. Like I took a 100 movie list of the ones that they like the gross ratings. I don't know, and I've watched all of the romantic movies that was in 2013, and I content analyzed like the amount of times they actually say I love you in Japanese movies, and it was hard to find. It was like 0 or 1 at least. So, yeah, we don't. I thought like we use more facial expression to show our affection to one another, not like verbal affection. So that was a big difference between Western and Japanese movies.
I was just going to say that probably it might be quite good to
changing. I didn't look at the Bollywood, so I had to go into that.
What do you think the applications of this research would be?
Applications. So, okay, I have another slide. So, what I'm actually doing right now with my research building on what I did now is I'm doing like an intervention. I'm trying to come up with an intervention program using heart rate synchronization. So basically, I'm gonna ask participants to watch movies, and I'm gonna measure their heart rates and see if their heart rates synchronize or not. And basically, when their heart rates synchronize, it means that your relationship with one another is closer. So I'm intending to use this and see if, like, watching movies or, using different types of media, like emailing or phone or like, talking face to face, might affect the heart synchronization, and in the end, they might have a stronger connection with one another and have closer relationship satisfaction. So that's what I'm aiming to do.
No, the heart rate synchronized.
Your heart rate synchronized. Yeah, it's the mechanism is not understood yet, but like even right now, talking to you guys, with some I might be synchronizing.
Wow, awesome. Okay, does anyone have any other questions? Oh, yep.
No, you go first.
No, you go first.
Danke.
I'll go first. Have you made any thoughts about the effects that you found here and about people who identify themselves as incels? Incels. It's like it's called involuntary celibate. People who can't find a girlfriend or boyfriend and struggle with this.
Yeah, that's a good point. I haven't even thought about it until now. But yeah, it might be that they have too strong romantic ideal beliefs, or it might be that their romantic ideal beliefs about their relationship is too low. So that might be a reason that's affecting their relationship status. Thank you.
Yeah.
So the movies, you like the movies that you showed in your experiments. Were they of a certain era? Romance movies, their plot changes, things change through the decades. So did you factor that, and do you notice any kind of changes between within the same genre?
So, from my experience, this one that I'm doing with heart synchronization, I'm limiting the years. So, like, it's gonna be around like 2013, 14, 15, somewhere there. So I've controlled that, but I haven't actually seen movies like in the 80s, like 90s, and compare like what has changed over time. So that might be another interesting thing to do in the future.
On that note, in those movies, the role of women is pretty active or passive?
For the one that I'm using right now?
Yeah, in general, and also maybe from Japanese film.
So that actually has changed a lot. So like in the past, it's more like the women are just waiting for the guys to come over, but now it's more like the women are trying to ask men out, and of course it's not just girls to men, men's to girls. It's like more diverse right now. So I think that's the thing that's changing now. It's not like just men and women's thing.